Welcome everyone, and hello. Welcome to another BridgerPay event. This is a very special event for us. We are hosting it together with Kanan from ZALORA and Arvin from ShopBack. Definitely happy to have you here, and I want you to introduce yourself if you can in a few words before we get started. That this event is a part of a series of events we do here in Bridger, where we're trying to share from our experience, from our clients' experience, and also our providers' experience on the best practices they see in the ecosystem of e-commerce and retail and payments. And I'm happy you both are here to share from your knowledge and experience. And we'll speak today about the combination between ZALORA, ShopBack, and the facilitation through Bridger. So, Kenan, if you would like to start and introduce yourself, it would be very good.
Hi everyone, my name is Kanan. I'm the head of payments for ZALORA. We operate mainly in Southeast Asia. We also have presence in Hong Kong and Taiwan. It's been a big 2020. I mean, last year was a big year for us. We launched about 14 payment methods. So we host one of the various offerings when it comes to payment channels in Southeast Asia. So thanks for having me. Thank you for having me, and look forward to the session.
Arvin, please.
Excellent. Thanks for having me on as well, Ron. Some quick background. My name is Arvin, co-founder and CEO from hoolah, which was acquired by ShopBack late last year. Previously, hoolah was the leading buy now, pay later platform in Southeast Asia, which is now ShopBack PayLater. So it's a fully integrated solution as part of the broader ShopBack ecosystem, which is more on the demand generation side for merchants generating shopping trips. And what we've done over the last few months in terms of post-acquisition was to integrate the PayLater solution right into the full ShopBack ecosystem.
Great, thank you very much, Arvin. Can you tell us basically about the product itself and what ShopBack is offering today?
So I was just giving a bit of background on ShopBack and the business. So what ShopBack does is has built is a platform for demand generation, which drives, last year alone, 450 million shopping trips to our merchant partners. So customers really start that shopping journey with us. And that's available in over 10,000 stores, both online and offline, through a suite of different types of reward programs and different products that we've been able to roll out. And really the goal is to help shoppers feel like they're winning every time that they use ShopBack, whether that's through the cashback that they earn using our product comparison feature, or even paying in 3 with the ShopBack PayLater feature as well.
Which allows them the installments, I guess.
That's correct. So that allows them to split the cost of a product out over multiple installments. Yeah.
And Kenan, from your side, you see so many users, so many use cases, so many countries. What do you see? What do you hear from them? What do they want to pay with?
Yeah, sure. So it's very interesting that prior to pandemic, the attention on buy now, pay later was around, but it wasn't as amplified as we saw during the pandemic and even now, right? Year on year, we have seen tremendous buy now, pay later share of growth from a retailer merchant perspective. And what I've noticed is that we started off in the first year, the share is probably about 7 to 8% of the total revenue for the group. And currently we are slightly above 13 to 15%, around that. What we have noticed is that during the pandemic, we wanted to help our customers, and I guess that sits perfectly and aligned with the vision of the buy now, pay later players to actually help customers to prioritize their spends. So the way we look at it is basically, if you are someone who's setting up a home office and you need an extra monitor or table to work, and you wouldn't want to put your cash up front, or rather utilize all your credit limit on the card to purchase those things, but you can actually spread out your purchases, make it a bit more, I guess, less putting a less pressure on the spend. And I guess these are also in a way that it's a payback, right? So when you get your salary over the time, you can pay it, and it's a better way of managing your cash flow. And our motive was not really to encourage customers to splurge, but rather encouraging customers to prioritize their spend and making sure that they get the essential items up front. Also, another example is that someone during the pandemic have probably had a reduction of income and would like to invest in a new business, probably would need some equipment, let's say computers and stuff. And buy now, pay later would allow them to actually make it possible for them to invest now and realize the potential later. And that's what the fact that we were riding on. And it was super helpful from the feedback that we got from the customers. And I guess the share of payment and the growth of buy now, pay later actually reflects the same.
And in which country have you started using buy now, pay later?
We have buy now, pay later offering, especially with ShopBack in all the markets that we operate. Because every market that we operate, ShopBack also has their presence, and we operate in most of the markets, if not all.
And the usage is across all markets. Basically, you see in every geographical region the need of the product.
Yes, for sure. In some markets, the tractions or the velocity is slightly better than the other, but overall, in most of the markets we operate, we see a strong demand for the product.
Yeah, it's also a time to take it in and bring it to the point of usage, wide usage. Arvin, from your side, how was the connection with ZALORA?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it was fairly straightforward for us to be able to work with ZALORA. A lot of that was essentially API documentation that we needed to share with the BridgerPay team, actually, more than anything else, to ensure that we could get that connection done and to make it happen. So, a bit of guidance from our side, a bit of support through the process, definitely. But it was fairly straightforward to be able to work as a group together to make sure that we could deliver against that. So, once we got connected and ZALORA made that connection between the two sides, we were able to work pretty quickly to make sure that we could get that connection done.
And from a business perspective and the usage in different countries, ZALORA is a very big marketplace. I think the connection was great because we also saw a very good usage from our side that orchestrate the payments, and I think that was a very fast not only onboarding of a new method, but also onboarding of getting a new method to live and processing with users. That was great to see the reaction from our side, and it was very interesting to see the usage in the different countries. And the fact that also there is a big cover for many different countries. Many times from our side as an orchestration layer, we see it only with specific countries and very limited, but with you guys it was quite wide, and I think that was a key benefit in the product as well.
Definitely.
From your side, Kenan, how do you see the impact of adding this new buy now pay later on the bottom line? For example, from your side, do you see more sales? Do you see more happy clients?
So yeah, I guess one of the key reasons why we wanted to onboard ShopBack PayLater, or previously hoolah, through BridgerPay was to really ride on the wave and making sure that we have the fastest GTM, go-to-market plan. And at that point of time, I guess we also had constraints on how much of tech resources we can deploy to integrate it. And then we looked at propositions that was on the table, and we realized that in order for us to achieve the fastest go-to-market, and also realize the benefits of the ATL campaigns that was going on within hoolah, and awareness campaigns that was going on to create traction and traffic to our site, we barely had a couple of weeks, and we knew that we didn't have the firepower to do the heavy lifting ourselves, and we engaged BridgerPay, right? And one of the things that was quite different is that we had a lot of unique challenges because at that point of time there was shift in spotlights to look into customer data, and there were a lot of changes with regards to how then we changed the data that was transmitted over to BridgerPay to hoolah and back to us, and we had to make a lot of unique changes that was only relevant to us as a merchant. And as easy as like sending an email to BridgerPay and asking them to get these things done for us, and it was done. So it saved a lot of our time, make sure that we can actually focus on what matters, like planning the campaigns, curating the right campaigns for the merchant, and also hoolah or ShopBack PayLater. So yeah, I guess we took off the focus from the integration side of things and really focused on the business side of things. And with regards to your question, yes, we saw huge new traffic coming from ShopBack. It was also mutual that we had a base to send over, and we also got a huge new customer traffic coming from the ATLs and the awareness campaigns that was built up by the ShopBack PayLater team or the hoolah team back then. With regards to customer spending, we saw an increase as well, and more so, I guess we also saw slightly higher spend than the usual customer base, which I guess was pretty beneficial because it helps with the unit economics of a retailer like us.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, the things that you could imagine buy now, pay later product would create, and later on to see that actually it has that impact of increased basket size, of bringing new business that wasn't here before because it didn't have that option. And it's all about choosing, you know, the right players to work with and the good relationship. I think from our side as Bridger, the integration to ShopBack, and we are integrating a lot of different payment providers in Bridger. The integration with you was really good. The communication between the team, the API, the level of it. This is not something we get every day, and we are very happy to work with the product like ShopBack. Maybe you could take us over a bit and tell us, what we are seeing here. We prepared a little video that shows the process of buying a transaction. So basically, when the client chooses ShopBack from the checkout of ZALORA, he would go through the payment experience with choosing the installments and the price of the price of. Maybe you want to tell us what we see here, Ken? And
So from a customer point of view, it's a bit seamless, right? So the customers won't be able to see that it's a three-layer integration. So it's very seamless. It's a millisecond range, and what the customer sees is basically the offering on ZALORA and the product itself, which is ShopBack PayLater. And beyond that, if you can take a look at the step, and every step of the way, the UI is very seamless. And also the view for us, the teams at the back end, is also quite intuitive, and we will be able to identify the transactions, and if we need to make any changes, we can do that as well. So overall, it's a perfect experience for both merchant and also the customer themselves.
Yeah, so basically, yes, like you're saying, I think the good thing is that as a buy now, pay later solution that keeps everything in screen, that's the experience that users are expecting. There's a lot of different problems that can happen from different redirects and useless maneuvers of the client. But in the end, that's what we are bringing here, the client into the same interface of ZALORA, where he's starting and ending the transaction inside, where all transactions later on are going inside one interface of Bridger.
Yes.
So let's take it off. From you, Arvin, can you tell us from your side what is coming in the future from ShopBack, and later on also Canon, the same thing, what's coming in the future from ZALORA side and the ShopBack partnership?
Yeah,
sure.
Lots of new adjustments, edits, little tweaks just to make the customer experience that much cleaner. I think some of the things might not be so obvious, but they just really try to shorten the journey that customers have from the start to the end of the checkout process. And even in the earlier screenshots that you were sharing, one of the more recent features that we deployed was the ability to complete the transaction within the browser. So when we first launched ShopBack PayLater, integrated in the ShopBack app, the checkout flow required customers to scan the QR code using the mobile app. Now, for whatever reason, you might not have your phone nearby, you might be on the browser checking out directly. We wanted to give customers the flexibility to also complete the transaction directly from their browser. So they'd just be able to log into their account with their credentials and hit the confirm button as well. So giving more flexibility while not adding more layers to the checkout flow or more steps is really important. And we're always looking at ways that we can do that for customers as well. To help really drive that conversion and the optimized checkout flow.
Kenan?
Yeah, so we are, sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, being a customer-centric organization that we are definitely focused on doubling down on making payment flow seamless for the customers. Especially focusing on existing customers, if we can somehow tokenize the connection we have between us, BridgerPay, and hoolah or ShopBack PayLater. So the main focus is to really make sure that the steps that is available right now is consistently reduced as we have more data with the customer, and more transactions. As we build the relationship with the customer, we allow the customers to check out seamlessly. So that will be the key focus. And I guess we are working closely with both teams to make sure that happens. And beyond that, I guess it's really making sure that the flow or the UI is actually intuitive with regards to different display of information, the split payments, reminders, and more than that, I guess we also want to be a very responsible partner to our vendors and payment channels. So in future, if there's a possibility or potential that we can actually relay some data over to make sure that we keep the default rates minimal, or rather making sure that we acquire a better quality customer base, we will also be focused on doing the same.
Yeah. So from the user experience side, second transaction and recurring transaction is something that users are also expecting to be fluent, to be seamless. I think that what you're saying is super important. We will see how from Bridger's side we are able to eliminate any redundant click or a parameter or a data that is needed to be transferred. So the user experience would be as fluent and fast as possible. That's what users expect. That's every click counts, and I think that's definitely our goal. And we are happy to get to that point that we are now optimizing it to the level of perfection. Good to have Arvin on board. There's work from his side as well that needs to be done, but we are happy to work together and get you to a perfect experience of payment. I think that's a very important part. You have a question?
No, I don't have. Just a comment that super thankful for the speed that BridgerPay enabled us to go live with ShopBack PayLater. And also the various changes that we requested for was done in a timely manner, less effort on us. And I knew that these were quite peculiar requests, and it requires a lot of resources on your end. And I guess, the partnership have somehow turned out to be very fruitful for all of us. And I'm hoping to nurture that relationship moving forward.
Definitely us as well. I want to thank you guys for joining us today to this event and session, and sharing from your experience on both product and the company that you work for. Kenan, ZALORA is very important for us as a client, and we definitely look at the success and the growth that we are getting us together. So thank you guys very much. And we'll be definitely be in touch very soon again. Hoping to see more and more products and best practice experience from you, Arvin.
Yeah, thank you for having me
Excellent.
too.
Thank you.